Welcome to another episode of Two Wheel Oklahoma.
Today we're going to take a ride down the southern half of Oklahoma State Highway 10. We're going to start in Fort Gibson and then we'll head south to the Gruber off-road vehicle riding area. After that we'll finish our day at Greenleaf State Park.
So grab your helmet, pull up a couch, come right along.
Let's hit it. Oklahoma Highway 10 is one of my favorite roads because if you notice, even on the state map, it has little green dots beside it, which means like it's scenic. And it really, really is.
Love Highway 10, but it's kind of, it's an easy highway, good for cruisers. Not really very technical. It's not very hard. I guess that makes it good for a lot of riders. Beautiful the whole way though. Yeah, Rex talked me into Highway 10, I don't know.
You know, you get behind those tank trucks and man, the buffeting is just, you feel like you're a little weeble wobbling, man. Oh.
A nutritious breakfast.
Oh, yeah, speaking of.
Little Debbie is my personal cook.
But you know, all in all, it's a pretty nice day. Yeah. Our first stop on the trip down Highway 10 was at Fort Gibson, and we pulled into the historic site.
Pretty cool town, a lot of rustic buildings, a lot of old architecture left, a lot of history in that town. Then of course, as we get there, we had to visit the fort.
And the stockade, the fort itself, is a reproduction that in itself it has a little bit of history because it was a WPA project from the 30s. And it's a fairly accurate reproduction of what the original fort used to look like.
I don't know where the office is. It said that way. I wouldn't dare get around something like this without the proper attire.
We thought they were using live ammo in this thing, so we kept our helmets on just to be on the safe side.
Safety first-ish. Is all that this? No, that's all iron, isn't it?
That's wood.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that's iron, you're right. I understand most visitors that come here, though, don't wear helmets.
We may be the first helmeted visitors.
Since the conquistadors.
Yeah. To set foot on this historic site.
Some of the coolest stuff down there are the rock buildings that were actually used as barracks for the troops and things like that when it was actually a working fort. It's really kind of cool. They've got a little museum set up inside there. And we met up with a guy named Chris Morgan. Kind of an interesting guy. You could tell he's like really, really into the history thing.
I think he got along great with Rex. They went off, I think, for hours and discussed historical aspects of the fort and the land.
I'm here with Chris Morgan, the site manager at the Fort Gibson Historical Site.
And Chris, tell me, why is Fort Gibson here?
Well, originally to keep the peace in the area. This was not exactly a peaceful area.
Oh, okay.
The U.S. government, well, the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. You know, there was a faction that wanted to set this aside to resettle the eastern tribes, and yet there were others that wanted this to become a part of Arkansas, you know, sort of a western extension. But whichever way things went, they had to make the area more peaceful than it was.
Okay. And what is this building we're standing in right now?
Well, right now we're standing in the commissary storehouse. If you'd been a soldier here in the early days, this is where your food would have been kept, your rations.
Right. Hardtack, salt pork.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And it's the visitor center now, and there's kind of a museum here.
That's right.
Showing the different eras of the fort.
And what, if you're wanting to visit Fort Gibson, when's a good time to come? Do you have any annual events here?
Well, coming up, as a matter of fact, we have several this fall. We've got our Fall Bake Day, for example, in November. And then in December, we have one of our most popular events. The second Saturday of December is going to be the Candlelight Tour. And that's an event at night. Again, it's living history where you can go with a tour group and visit the rooms that are illuminated by candlelight or lamplight and see the history of the early 19th century here at the fort.
Sounds like fun. So it sounds like any time's a good time to visit Fort Gibson if you're out and about. Well, thanks a lot, Chris. We're going to wander around and enjoy the view.
After I got through talking with Chris Morgan inside the visitor center, I looked around trying to find Brad, and he'd disappeared. I never did figure out where the heck he went.
So things start slowing down a little bit. I try to sneak off a little bit as Rex was explaining everything about the bakery and the armory, and he seemed to know every little aspect and what everything was for, so I know he had the crew riveted.
This is the bakery, and this is where they made the paninis. And this was the origins of sub sandwiches. A lot of people don't realize that, but during the Civil War, sub sandwiches were really a big deal. And you know, they invented the Merrimack and those Ironside things. They were kind of submarines. That's where the term submarine sandwich comes from. A lot of people don't realize that.
You can still smell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of got that. Salami. You can kind of smell the salami and the pomegranate yogurt bread. So after we toured the historic site, we decided to look for someplace to have lunch. And turns out there's this really great restaurant literally across the street from the stockade. So we just kind of pulled the bikes over there to the Badlands Smokehouse and had lunch. Turned out to be a great decision.
Welcome to Badlands!
We never get here on the day when they have the special. And it's like it's Wednesday. I'm loving it. It's a gumbo day.
So are you going to have the gumbo?
Oh no, I can't stand gumbo. So why aren't you kids in school?
Because we wanted to hang out with two real Oklahomans. Yes.
I'm flattered. The kids didn't want to go to school that day because they'd heard that the TV show was coming to their restaurant.
Either that or that was their day to work. I don't know, but they were pretty young, so either way, they're going to be in trouble.
All right, we just left the fort, and we're sitting here with Byron Spencer at Badlands Smokehouse. Rex and I came in with the crew and had some good lunch, excellent food. Now, how long has the business been here? You've only been here for 3 months, but...
Right, I'm wanting to say 15 or 16 years. The reason I say that is I had a Pepsi route here way back when, and I delivered the first Pepsi in here.
So how did it come about that you just up and bought a restaurant?
Well, just an opportunity came, and I've always kind of come around here, and then, like I said, I had history with it, with delivering Pepsi to it.
I'm sure you ate here.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the food. So
yeah, every time you delivered, they'd have a bologna sandwich for you.
Okay.
But smoking barbecue is a hobby, and now it's a job.
Oh, so you've always done this
In the backyard, just like everybody.
Okay. You thought you were good and you found out you really
Yeah.
were.
Everybody with a smoker thinks they're good.
Well, that may be true. That may be true. We noticed you don't just have barbecue.
Right. No, we have a pretty large menu. Cheeseburgers to steaks to catfish.
In fact, neither Rex or I got barbecue this
Right,
time,
yeah.
so I guess
Well, that was a good thing. That shows the menu.
the diversity of the, okay. Now, we heard from some of the locals that you had kind of a special drive-through service, and they told me to ask you about that.
Well, I don't have a drive-through, but if you have a train, sometimes we will deliver.
We saw the tracks running down beside the highway.
Right. Every now and then they'll call from up in Braggs, which when you guys go to Greenleaf, you'll be going that way. They'll call from that far away, and then by the time they get up here, we'll have it ready. And they'll stop and either come out and get it or we'll take it to them.
Blocking traffic? Do they block intersections?
They can't stay stopped for more than 20 minutes
20
to be legal. So,
Okay.
But yes, they do like our food.
Well, it must be good. I know we loved it. We're going to be back.
All right.
So we ended up setting with this really cool couple from Muskogee that were also there at having lunch, and that was really fun. They highly recommended the gumbo. Are you all from Fort Gibson?
No,
We're from Muskogee.
Oh, okay.
Well, close thing.
So you're out on a day trip, sort of, to Fort
Yeah.
Gibson. So what did you have? Did you have the gumbo?
I had the gumbo.
That's where I was headed. I was Gumbo Town.
It is. I've spent a lot of time in New Orleans. And,
Oh, yeah?
And believe me, it's a New Orleans recipe.
Oh,
it's a real.
It's a real deal.
Okay.
Told you. Stay tuned. When we get back, we'll head for the Gruber ORV area. We'll do it in the dirt. We left Fort Gibson and headed on down 10, and just a few miles down 10 from Fort Gibson is the Gruber off-road vehicle area. It's a really cool area, just even to go hiking. People don't realize how great, what a great facility it is, and you don't even have to have a dirt bike if you don't want. You can just go hiking out there, and it's some beautiful, beautiful scenery.
And it's really a neat off-road riding area. Got almost everything from the rock for the trials guys, muddy trails to woods riding.
We met Mike Ward down there, who's been the president of the Gruber Trust for quite some time. Really nice fella. Rides street bikes and dirt bikes, and races cross country and enduros and things like that. And he showed us around, and I attempted to keep up with him on the GS, which this was the first time I'd had it on anything beyond a gravel road, and it was rather enlightening. Well, we dropped down here to the Gruber off-road vehicle area, and I'm here with Mike Ward, who is the chairman of the Gruber Recreational Vehicle Trust. And Mike, how long has this been a place where you could come and play in the dirt?
We actually got the land in 1990.
Okay.
Next March will be 20 years. It was land that was surplus land donated by the Department of the Interior.
Okay.
We've got 455 acres. It's open all year round. It's free. The only time we've ever closed the park was during a racing event. We would have a cross country or an enduro.
Okay.
And, then we've had a couple of four-wheel drive clubs come out.
So there's no land use fee, there's no permits required?
The only time we charge anybody is if they use the electricity. If they have a motorhome, we have electrical hookups available. We've got 2 pavilions, some charcoal grills. There's no water or restrooms. You have to, fend for yourself there.
Okay.
But, it's
a small price to pay.
It's pretty primitive.
And the trails out here, I mean, there's some rocky terrain, and but there's a little bit of everything, right?
A little bit of
You've got
everything.
some mud down there, and we're right between the Arkansas River and Highway 10.
Yeah, it's pretty scenic. We've got tight woods, dirt bike stuff. and then
Right.
Open stuff for like what the four-wheel drives and the side-by-sides and the quads like to ride on. So,
Right.
we welcome, like I say, everybody, whether it's mountain bikes or just hikers. It's open to camping all year round. There's no hunting allowed inside the park. And
Okay.
it's kind of a pack-in, pack-out honor system as far as the trash. If you
Okay.
don't take it back with you, I have to come pick it up.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's go touring around. Don't go too fast, though. This thing's heavy.
Okay, sounds great.
We get up there, and I had to park the Aprilia and then start making bets with some of the crew that stayed behind if Rex and the cameraman would make it out of the woods.
Yeah, I followed Mike down one of the easier trails out there at Gruber, and on the big GS it was pretty challenging, especially when you've got a passenger on the back, because one of our cameramen, Jason, was riding on the back trying to get some footage. And that was a little bit scary for both of us, and so we kind of came to a mutual agreement that it might be best if he walked the rest of the way.
My definition of off-roading is quite a bit milder than Mike's. It's a little bit rocky there. That gets a little bit scary.
Then we got back there, back to this really cool overlook right above the Arkansas River, and some other riders met us that are with OCRA, which is the Oklahoma Cross Country Racing Association, and they put on a little off-road riding show for us. That was a lot of fun. While we were at Gruber, we all got to like kind of ride a dirt bike again for the first time in I don't know how long. And some of the folks in the crew who'd never ridden a dirt bike got their chance to experience the fun of off-road riding.
And then we find out that Jason has never even ridden a dirt bike. So that was fun to watch. That was entertaining.
Got the wrong shoes on, that just came into my foot.
You want me to start it?
Been a while, huh?
No gas.
Well, you might give it just a tad.
How about clutch in?
There you go.
When we're leaving like Gruber, there's this dude like in this wagon, like this horse-drawn wagon that looks like, you know, like the Jodes are heading out to California or something. It was very odd.
As we're coming up on it at speed, and I notice he's got a cage underneath with a chicken.
Had a chicken in a basket hanging off the back of it and stuff, and the guy parks by this creek, and I mean, it was like very odd.
That's all I can see. I damn near ran into the thing because I'm staring at the chicken underneath this rolling carny.
One of the guys in the crew said he had a laptop, but I'm not so sure about that.
He had a chicken-powered laptop.
I think he was just whittling on something. He was searching for whittling. He Googled whittle.
The chicken and Jason almost flying off the back of the bike. That was the highlight of the day.
Hey, put down that remote. We'll be right back. So after we left Gruber, we headed on down 10 through the big town of Braggs and headed for Greenleaf State Park. Greenleaf is a really cool park. There's fairly small little lake that these cabins look over, and it's great views, great hiking trails. There's RV camping, primitive camping, nature center. It's a really nice place to just hang out for a weekend. Steve, this is a beautiful park, and these cabins are just something else, man. How old are these?
Well, the cabins were built, WPA, Work Progress Administration, back in the Depression days, back in the 30s, 36 and 37. But originally they built 10 cabins, and those are the ones that we're standing in front of now.
Okay.
And then they later built some other cabins. There's 4 cabins down at the end, cabins 1 through 4, and there's some discussion about who built them.
Oh, okay.
Some people say that the POWs from the Germans, Camp Gruber borders us on the north, just right halfway up that
So
hill.
there were World War II prisoners of war there at Gruber,
Yes, sir.
and they worked on some of these also.
Well,
Or
some people say.
it's alleged.
It's really interesting because I'll get some people that are really adamant and say, oh, it was definitely built by the Germans. And then somebody else, a different time, just as adamantly say, no, they were not built by the Germans.
Now, in addition to the cabins here, I understand there's a lot more WPA structures here at the park.
Yes, sir. We've got what we call the lodge, the Greenleaf Lodge, and it's built on a hill just back behind us, and it's got a beautiful view of the lake, but it's a big building. And when they built it, it was kind of a night spot. And then during World War II, it became an officers' club.
I see.
And then after the war was over, it went back to being kind of a night spot, a restaurant. And now, over the years, it's developed to where it's kind of like a group camp.
Now, I notice accessibility is always an issue. And I notice like the one behind us, for example, has handrails to make it easier for folks in a wheelchair or something to get in. But I understand here at Greenleaf, you've got something even more special than that for the handicapped if they want to come visit the lake. Tell me about that.
Okay, back in 1994, there was a group called the Telephone Pioneers of America, and they were retired folks from different telephone companies wanted to do something nice for the park.
Oh, okay.
So what they decided to do was to build this cabin.
Right.
And the unique thing about it is it's like you said or alluded to, it's a handicap accessible cabin. It's got a hospital bed in it, everything's wheelchair accessible. It's got its own private fishing dock that's wheelchair accessible. And it's a beautiful cabin inside and out. It stays rented just about all the time.
Right. Well, we appreciate it, Steve. Thanks a lot for visiting with us and showing us around Greenleaf State Park.
Welcome. And the more people, the better.
Good deal. Well, we'll see what we can do about that.
All right.
So after we left Greenleaf, we went ahead and finished off Highway 10, heading south through Gore and down towards I-40.
Thanks for riding along with us today.
To learn more about the places we visited and the people we've met, visit twowheeloklahoma.com.
See you next week.
Because I wanted to hang out with 2 Wheel Oklahoma.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that the name?
Yeah.
I am in command. It's either bolted down or really, really heavy.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
I think that was right.
These are my sunglasses. Kind of edgy, kind of blue thing.
They're very blue.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Say, I love audio people.
I love audio people.
Yeah. Don't say it.
So they pull their 2 young, we find out later, they're 2 young kids out of school. They have to work every Wednesday apparently. And yeah, as they're forcing them to come. So since it was Wednesday, it was the young kids' day to work. They pull them out of school and bring them to the restaurant. They keep the one older girl in the back on the fryer. And so after the incident with the little girl and the knives, they keep her on the fryer, and they've got the boy cutting up all the meat and okra and other things. I know I saw them out there. They made them come out and greet us, and change the sign and put all the letters up. And of course, the little 4-year-old had spelled something wrong. They got all upset about that and made him go out and fix it.
Okay.
No, really, the kids were pretty nice. They came out there and greeted us, took a day off of school. They were pretty excited. So it was kind of neat to see. Hi, I'm Brad Matheson with Two Wheel Oklahoma. Now we're going to take a side trip.
Oklahoma's state welcome centers can provide you with a slew of great brochures, maps, and visitor guides, like these. But here's a hint on making the most of all that great stuff. Drop by before heading out on your trip. Instead of filling up your back seat with all these brochures, then trying to fumble through them while you're out on the road, go pick some up beforehand. Once you know where you're going, then you can bring along just the brochures you might need. Plus, it's helpful to have all that information while you're planning your trip beforehand. You can visit websites, research nearby attractions, and plan out your route with online mapping tools. If you're not sure where the closest Oklahoma Welcome Center is located, visit our website for a complete list.
There is so much to see and learn about on all our trips throughout Oklahoma that we can't fit into just one show. So to learn more about all the places, people, and bikes on the show, head on over to twowheeloklahoma.com. There you will find everything you need to know about the history of the towns, the roads, and the people we meet. You can read up on the gear we wear and the bikes we ride.